Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die Presents The Titans Gift Season 2 Episode 15. I'm your DM and host Marty, joined by the Seattle crew of Luke, Neil, and Gene. Matt is on his way. How is everyone doing on this fine shelter-in-place evening? I kind of forgot what day it was today. I've forgotten what day it is several times in the last week. I'm like, what day is it? Like, it's just all the same. I've also set off my own alarm, opening up the door thinking that I undid the alarm, but that was like yesterday that I undid the alarm, and I had since, like...
We had a shelter in place. Why are you opening your door?
I'm opening my door to get some of the fresh air in, man. It's like...
you mean to say air in, not air out,
exactly,
right?
Yes. Get some of the fresh air in.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, it's Matt.
What's up, brother? Oh.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, man.
Hey.
You joined us just in time.
I just, I'm having trouble keeping the days straight with the whole...
Oh my god. Every day's the same day these days.
It's, yeah. It's Groundhog Day!
We were just chatting about that phenomenon.
Ah, nice.
Hey, there's Matt. There we go.
Nice to know I'm not that clever. You're not.
No, but you were on topic though.
I'm as clever as y'all are, which is pretty clever, actually.
Like I said. Why don't we do? How'd you do, Neil? How are you surviving, man?
Sorry, I'm waiting for my internet connection. It was just very, very slow. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Not getting out of the house. It's not as fun as you would think it is. But, hanging in there, surviving. If it wasn't for this and for online gaming, what would we have, right?
I don't know. Each other, I suppose.
Sex?
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility. All right.
Good sleep.
So, like 10 minutes later, then what?
Whoa.
All right.
You need to drink up the whole day.
My internet connection is not working with me.
What's that? 13 and a half hours at least?
Right. Oh, that's funny. Maybe it's funny because I've been cooped up a little bit. They're going to like, there was a distinct degradation in quality of Die Dragon Die when the COVID virus.
Funny.
Right, exactly.
The lack of oxygen is getting to you, like, stop laughing their own jokes. We disappear slowly, like the bot just grows in effectiveness. It gets better than we actually are.
Right? I've scripted a bot that is basically a chat bot for each of the characters with each distinct personalities. Based off of their life. Wait, what? Okay. Luke, what's going on with you, man?
Just sheltering in place, did a bunch of gardening and cleaning on the weekend. Matt, you were talking about Stellaris last week. Made me get back in. I'm playing a race of evil lizard monsters who are just xenophobic, super militaristic.
So America.
So it's great. I've just conquered my first alien and changed their rights to eat them, turn them into food. So let the purge begin.
All right. That sounds healthy.
Gotta get through the quarantine.
Well, April, middle of April, or 8 weeks, or 3 months according to the CDC. We'll see.
Right.
CDC has been reliable so far.
Right. Because Easter's beautiful. All right. Matt, what's going on with you?
Jesus was born.
Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. I got this Facebook portal device to stay kind of connected to work.
Okay.
So we've got kind of a video chat room going, which is nice.
I haven't used one of those.
It's pretty good. The camera tracking is not bad. It can track within a
sort of a range. Auto away if it doesn't see you moving. Yeah, a decent mic and speaker for video conferencing purposes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a reasonably solid device.
It like follows you. It zooms in on your face. What?
Yeah, the camera seems to be like behind a lens that either they're doing like a fisheye and then transforming to the section that contains the face, or it's actually got motors on it, and behind the lens it's moving around a little bit.
It's almost certainly digital.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. That's certainly my expectation.
We had something like this because our office at work back when I worked for another company was technically considered remote. So we had like one of those Cisco devices, which looks very similar, it's just larger because it was
Right,
for
yeah.
a conference room for to see like 5 different people. And yeah, there's no motors in there. It's basically it's like really wide angle fisheye, and it can actually track even several different people.
Absolutely makes sense. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Very cool. Gene, what's up with you, man?
Well, sitting in place, just like everybody. Drinking a lot.
Yeah, gotta keep hydrated.
Yeah, well.
He was very hydrated last night, apparently.
This morning.
Well, this morning.
Oh,
Up
I
until
agree.
this morning. But is it really this morning if it's a continuation of yesterday?
Depends who's asking.
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, there's been a lot of alcoholism and during our trip in December and January, like back to Russia, we brought back 2 liters of vodka and we've been going through them. Yeah. It's really good vodka.
Nice. Hey, good vodka is good vodka, man.
Awesome. I am looking forward to going and having a beer outside of my apartment whenever this is done. Why don't we do a
That's if any
recap?
bars are left.
Yeah, right. If they've all closed down.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to you opening a bar when she's all done.
Apparently, yeah. No, I had to take a trip to the other apartment because they left a package there. Somehow one squeaked through the cracks when I moved, and Linda's closed down. It's got boards up on the windows and everything.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I think some places are boarding up the windows because they don't want to take all the alcohol out, and the room
maybe.
can break in and take the alcohol.
And they don't know how long this is going to be, so they're just kind of like storm sheltering in place. Oh, okay. Maybe it didn't close down then.
I think a lot of places are going to be doing that.
It just looked weird when I was driving around. There was nobody on the streets. I'm like, should I be out? This is a couple days ago. Like, I'll just do a quick run and go to a grocery store. And yeah, a lot of places were boarded up. That makes sense. Okay, quick recap of last game. Last game was called The Blood Rail. The party chases a tiny daemon that escaped confinement. They are later discovered by the Turk personnel and they explain the situation. That's the Trans Ether Rail Company. The presence of a sword saint and a tusker seemed to assuage their suspicions. The party is invited to join the rest of the train passengers and are given quarters in coach. The professor performs a psychometry reading upon a daemon-infused soulstone. A queen's physician on board insists on examining the passengers one by one and provides inoculations.
Of course, we make that into a lot of fun.
Yes, the professor was the first one in line, and he refused to disrobe so that he could be inspected. And now we're in the middle of a melee where Pharisee is charming the hell out of guards. San is now biffing the plague doctor in the torso, just sort of fisticuffs. Makronam's sneaking around, looks like he's going to try to grab the doctor. The professor is dancing around, trying to stay out of it. And Zephyrus is guarding the doorway. And I think we left off in the middle of initiative. It is start of round 6. Oogway knows that something's up, and he's just sort of guarding the door, or he's sort of removing himself a little bit so that perhaps he's not culpable. Makranam is going to scoot up underneath the table. Oh, hi! And there's a pseudopod that comes out of Makranam, and it's going to try to grab the Plague Doctor. Let me get the Plague Doctor's stats. One thing I didn't open. That looks about right. Okay, and then Makranam. Let's see what the little guy can do. Makranam can strike with a melee punch at +11. Somebody want to give me a roll?
If somebody could just help out, I'm just trying to fix my Wi-Fi quickly. My Wi-Fi is acting up.
Okay. Oh, I got the 18 is first, so 29. That punches. Give me a second. How does he fight? He fights with a slam. Okay, 29. He did it non-lethally because he's taking Q from San. His slam, however, does 1d6 plus 9 damage.
Holy fuck.
Whap! There's a pseudopod that comes out and basically hits the plague doctor in the sternum. The bleep bends over and is now sticking to him. So first we'll add the 13 non-lethal. The plague doctor is now bloodied.
But non-lethally bloodied.
Yep. As in, he's taken more than half of his hit points in non-lethal damage, is basically what I'm describing. Makranam can, I believe, start grabs with his slams. Let me check. Does he have the grab ability? Yes, on a slam attack, it acts like grab with a free grapple attempt. So he's going to grapple.
As well.
At plus 15. So he has just grabbed the Plague Doctor. And there are sticky strands going from Makranam to the Plague Doctor. Let me go! Is what he's saying underneath his mask. Pharisee, you've got one guard who's sitting outside because you told him to wait outside with a suggestion, and the other one is sitting politely listening to your fluting.
Step outside, so I've got eyes on both of them, and ask Turk Guard number 6. I'm going to suggest too many people in this room. We need to stand outside.
Okay.
So that's a DC 18, continuing the blood assault.
Oh, I remember these guys with their +2 will saves.
That's right.
Rolling
right off the
19s and 20s.
Damn!
Did he fail or make it?
He made it.
Oh my
He made
goodness.
it hard.
You're just sort of looking up at your fluting. What is Pixel doing? I think she tried to touch him. Did you see the doctor? Now that the doctor's been grabbed, she's going to try to escape from that square, I guess. Where is she heading?
Oh, she's gonna hide under the table.
Okay, she goes and hides underneath the table, and I don't think there's anyone in the train that could find her if she was hiding and rolled a 1. What's her hide plus?
30. There are probably people who could.
Yeah. Not in this room, though.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she disappears underneath the table. The Plague Doctor. What do you want? Let me go! Oh, you've been bad, I think.
Oh, sir, please, we're trying to de-escalate this quickly. Yes, please, be reasonable. Stop attacking us.
Let me go!
will certainly let you go as soon as you stop trying to stab my friend here with a needle.
Give me a charisma check.
Okay. Let me scroll back up.
You can add 2 because Son's kicking the crap out of him, and you can add 2 because Makranam is grabbing him, and he doesn't quite understand what a Makranam is.
I guess plus 6.
I don't think anyone really understands what Bacchanal is.
Oh, oops. 17.
Alright, so the DC would be 10 plus level plus wisdom. He drops his really big syringe thing. It clangs to the floor, and he puts his hands up like he doesn't want to get hit anymore.
Oh, how very civil of you, Doctor. Thank you for your cooperation. Now shall we resume our discussion on the current pandemic?
I'll say, and pull back the curtain and maybe motion for him to sit down.
You've struck a queen's position. What is this?
And you notice that he kind of like tries to push Makranam away, but ends up pushing his hand into the mouth of Makranam, and it just sort of disappears. He's like, ah!
Physician's office.
Is a physician for cleaning or for anything?
Not sure.
Hold on, Bacchanal.
Don't hurt me! Don't hurt me!
You did attack us.
Alright, the Turk guards. Let's see if these 2 guards that are way down this hallway, so combat, DC 0, through a doorway, 4, and then they are 70 feet away, that's DC 11. Through another door is DC 15, plus the movement and sound of the train is DC 20. So let's see if these 2 guards that were sitting on duty way down at a table, they're likely distracted with what they're doing, so that's -4. They need to roll a nat 20. They're rolling nat 1. They're as oblivious as... they're eating pie or something like that, and it's really good.
This is delicious pie.
Let's see if the deputy across the hall heard what was going on. All right, so you can hear coughing just on the other side of this door. This is Pharisee and Zephyrus hear that. What are you doing with the 2 guards, Pharisee? This is the next round.
I'm gonna try and get this guy outside again. Oh, I hear some coughing. I think coughing is bad. Maybe we should go check on our quarantined person across the hall. The plague doctor will be very upset.
He nods and gets up. He wanders over to the door. You see he fiddles with the door. And almost like the deputy marshal had the poorest timed sneeze/cough. As the guard opens the door, there's sort of this splatter, and you notice that part of the sputum is blood.
Ah, beautiful.
Sorry. And he's kind of wiping the guard. The guard's just standing there. We're here to check on you, he says.
Can the marshal hear and see me?
Yeah, the marshal looks like he's busy cleaning the blood off that he just spat
Right.
all over the Turk guard, but the door is now open.
So next round, I'll my fascinate will loop him in as well.
Okay, he does turn to kind of look at all of you, and like there's a look of like confusion on his face, and let's see what the marshal has to say about this. God, that sucks. Look at these NPC will saves.
Poor sucker.
Okay, his isn't too bad. This is not too bad.
Okay.
But when you roll an 8, you get a +4.
Not too good either.
He starts to approach, and he drops the bloody handkerchief he had in his hand, and he's coughing, and he's moving forward.
Oh, nice.
Zephyros, what are you doing? He's kind of coughing in your general direction and doesn't seem to be observing any polite behavior like covering his mouth when he coughs. He's also completely entranced by Pharisai's music.
So in keeping with what we all know now about 6 feet, Zephyros is going to 5-foot step, just try and be out of the way.
Yeah, you're already squeezing in this hallway, so it's like, and this gives him enough room to come and quietly sit down in front of Pharisee.
Nice, that makes sense, yeah.
But he is
Zephyros just mumbles and says, "That's exactly what I wanted."
He is wheezing, and you can see that there are tears of blood coming out of the sides of his eyes. You'd have to search him. You'd have to get much closer to see if he has any of the welts.
I don't think I need more signals on this one.
Yep. Are you guys standing outside, or are you going in?
On my turn, I'm going to take a 5-foot step back and tell him quarantine, doctor's orders.
Okay.
Does Zephyros know what you're planning at this point? Did you give him any indication? Because Zephyros is in the way, so if
Nah, I mean, quarantine will be back in his own room.
Okay.
In fact, all of you are going to need to be quarantined now from exposure.
So you're
I'll have to do them one at a time.
So you're suggesting. So you're basically suggesting them back in.
I'm suggesting that he go back to his room.
Okay.
And then I'm going to quarantine the other two as well after this.
Okay. He stays put. The other 2 guards end up going into the room. No problem. All right. That's about 5 rounds, which was 30 seconds. What are you doing with the doctor?
The professor's trying to, I guess, get him to sit down.
Yeah, and Solon is like not talking. Solon is basically just, and unless he's physically resisting, he's helping Mokran just like sit in front of the table.
Okay. Yep. You sit him down. You sit him down in a seat, and basically the 2 of you are wrestling with him. It looks like Mokranam can make parts of his tentacles sticky when he wants to, and it does not look like it would probably take strong alcohol or acid to get Mokranam's stickiness off of this plague doctor's clothing.
It's not like tree sap, butter is not going to work.
What was that, Neil?
It's not like tree sap at all. Butter is not going to work.
Right. Now I'm hungry for pancakes.
I feel like if butter's an option, you should try it.
You should try it.
It works with tree sap, I'm just saying.
You sit him roughly down in the chair, and he's like, his plague doctor mask is all on crooked right now, so you probably can't see very well, as there's one sticky strand at the end of the beak of his plague doctor mask that is kind of being pulled in Mokranam's general direction. You're just basically holding him up in his chair so he doesn't fall into Mokranam. Can Mokranam eat somebody? That's a horrifying thought.
Oh, reach
So listen, doctor. First, stop struggling. Second, we have a talking bag. He is our leader. He will fucking eat you if you keep struggling. So, listen. Don't attack us. Don't stab us with syringes. We just need to talk. We're not actually your enemy. You did attack us first. And yes, we know you're Queen's physician. Stop repeating that. Does he react to this?
He's listening. He does not have a choice at this point in time. He just bobs his head up and down. It looks like he doesn't want to be hit again.
That's fair.
Yes.
I don't want to be stabbed either.
Mockernum's now lashed onto the chair as well as him and onto the floor, and he's all kind of goopy, and he's going, "Don't worry, I got him. He's not going anywhere." And effectively, Mockernum pins him to the chair. It's like he's got 2 stages of grapple. Pinning also makes somebody, I believe, almost helpless. Give me a second. Grappled is you take a bunch of minuses, and then pinned. While he has to maintain the pin, he's not fighting against it at this point. Cannot moved is denied his dexterity bonus. He takes an additional -4 to armor class. He has to break the pin in order to do things. And Mockernum can actually stop him from casting spells. At this point in time, Mockernum doesn't have any of his tendrils in the guy's mouth. First, there's a mask on. Second, you want him to talk, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But if he had any spells, this is a horrible, horrible thing. Like, you have to make concentration checks to attack. So he's actually being pinned by Mockernum.
Right. Well, he also has like several people next to him, so there's probably attacks of opportunity involved.
Yeah, he would have to take like several actions to get out of this.
Right. So the plague has been out for like a month. How the hell do you already have a vaccine?
They're samples.
Samples? Samples of what?
I'm not supposed to tell you.
Yeah, you are. You're being held by a monster, and you're about to get the shit beat out of you by a half-giant. You're absolutely supposed to tell us.
I was in Bostera to collect blood samples.
And you made a vaccine out of it in like an hour?
These are not inoculations.
Ah, so you
Good to know.
spread the disease to everyone on the train, then?
No, placebos.
Ah.
Do you know what a placebo is?
You don't mind if I have a look, then? His bag's still on this table, right? He's got...
No, he doesn't mind. Please, go ahead.
So there's a doctor bag. It's open. You can see it's got at least 30 vials in it. They are labeled, but they're labeled with like numbers and letters.
I'll have the head or the...
Some of them were neatly packed in, but because he was just grabbing seemingly random vials and sticking them into his needle.
I'll have the
His
unseen
syringe.
set down the skull of the Tar Heel Daemon and have it pick up a syringe for me. And
Okay. You pick up the syringe that he dropped. It is for all intents and purposes, a weapon. Like, you could inject people in melee with this thing.
I'm curious more about the coding system he's got on, the catalog system. You said
He does have a book. There's like a black leather manual that is in with the vials.
I'll take that out and open it and try and match up.
Yeah, Professor, please let me see as well. Like, put it down on the table.
Yes, of course, Master Son. I'll say I'll move the bag out of the way a little bit and start flipping.
Okay, it is very it's very like a science log. It has no names in it. It has subject numbers.
Do you have a corresponding list of the subjects' names and locations?
It has their race, their sex, and approximate age.
So, if I'm to piece this together correctly, good doctor, you were about to inject my friend and I here with a random sampling of someone's blood who was likely infected with the blood.
He's like, no, they weren't infected, but there's a last column that's called BV is the column header.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of X's, check marks, and question marks in that column.
How many people who were positive for the blood veil have you injected on this train, sir?
It is placebo. If I were to find a cure, I would be famous.
Surely, Doctor, you must realize these are not laboratory conditions. We haven't controlled for variations here at all. Sloppy work.
Desperate times equal desperate measures?
I kind of wave him off while I flip through. I'm trying to see the one he tried to inject us with.
Well, he did inject one of you with it. San got hit by one.
He didn't inject me. He stuck me with a needle, but the plunger was already out. But the needle may have had.
That's right. So
I'll look that one up in the book to see whose blood San maybe got contaminated with.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Son is asking for as well.
All right. BB-17. So the 1 was no, 2 was question mark, 3 was yes. He was fighting. He grabbed the vial that he knew had BV yes, and it came from a 50-year-old male human from Bostera.
I'll point at it and look up at San. Perhaps we should start investigating you. Perhaps something in your kit we could apply quickly.
The first one he attacked you with was a vial that was a question mark.
Yeah, Stone nods. This has been maybe a couple minutes. Hey, Markernum, can you suck?
Huh?
Remember how you were inhaling smoke from the cigarette?
Yeah.
Can you do that on my leg?
You want me to smoke your leg?
Sure. And I point to the spot where, he hit the needle. Try and suck out a little blood out of there.
Won't that hurt?
I don't think so. Did it hurt you? Does smoking hurt you?
Okay, I can do that.
This is really the advised medical procedure. Perhaps we should do
First
something.
thing you want to do is suck out the venom, if this was a snake. And I've been bitten a lot of snakes.
I suppose it's worth a try then. Proceed.
Well, if nothing else, before I die, I will have got my legs sucked by Mockernom. I can die happy.
That is quite the accomplishment.
Is the juice that comes out, is it for eating or for keeping?
A valid question.
For keeping.
Okay, right here.
Markernum's weird lamprey mouth is making a little sucking noise. It kind of looks like a boosh.
Yeah, so
like puckered lips.
Back against.
Okay. Oh god, that hurts. Mockernum actually does some damage to you.
That's fine.
He gives you a really nasty hickey for 2 non-lethal damage.
Okay. Do you want to mark that on my...
I can. You got 8 damage, and then I'll mark 2 non-lethal. 2 non-lethal.
Okay.
Oh, do you want me to...
Like, it's all bleeding now.
Alright. Yeah, so after that, Son starts applying, applying his healing kit. Heal, first aid, stop the bleeding, and, try and escalate whatever happened there.
Doctor, you're going to need to give us the list of what you've injected to the other passengers on this train. I will have to inform the conductor about your tests. You, of course, realize that, I'm sure.
You will only cause panic.
You just caused the spread of the disease. Panic is
Motherfucker, what
acceptable.
chaotic neutral.
Yeah. By the way, Doctor, we're in Washington. You stand no chance of getting elected anyway.
You will only cause panic.
Well, we will take action and quarantine the ones you have infected and watch the others who are question mark and make sure we have enough critical trained staff who haven't been compromised to get us back to the city. You've caused a lot of trouble, Doctor. I'm really rather disappointed in you.
You are the last ones.
Yes, well, let's see. What have you injected with people so far?
Okay. You see that he does keep track. He did keep track on a separate part of his notebook of who he's injected. These do have names and ranks.
Pharisee, Zephyros, when you're done out there, I believe you should come in here. We have a few things that need discussing.
Yeah, I've got 5 rounds of Bard Song left. That ought to be enough if I blow it all to get this guy back into the room.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. He fails a save finally, and then he kind of goes in the room, and then the group of you go into the doctor's office. Unless you're staying in the hallway.
Lock the door if we can, but yeah.
Zephyros, are you going in or out?
I'm going in. I'm just trying to see, are we still in combat, or are we out of combat?
No, we're out of combat now.
Okay.
Son, I don't know if this would be much help, but do you have this lesser restoration here? I'll say, offering Son a potion bottle. Anything to boost your immune system might be advised.
Yeah, well, Son nods, grabs it. Yeah, Marty, so I haven't, rolled for heal yet.
Yeah, give me a heal check. Give me a second. I need to look at the DC.
Uh-huh. Wait, DC of heal?
Yeah, you're trying to. What are you trying to do? Just treat the wound, or are you trying to actually treat a disease?
Good question. Well, so can I do both? Can I do 2 things? First, I want to stop the bleeding and repair the damage.
Okay, so you're going to treat deadly wounds. The DC is 20.
Yeah, I'm handing him a potion of lesser restoration. If he takes this before starting in on this, will it help him kind of...
Lesser restoration restores fatigue and ability damage.
Mhm.
He hasn't incurred any ability damage yet. This is the type of thing you use to recover as opposed to...
I nod. I take it anyway.
Okay.
It's lesser restoration potion?
It takes an hour to treat deadly wounds, so basically you take out some needle and thread, you start to boil it or start to make sure it's clean, and then you start sewing it up, and then you're applying a bandage. It's an hour long.
Okay. I have a healing kit. Does that accelerate at all?
No, that is, you take a penalty if you don't have a heal kit, and this takes up a single use of your heal kit. Heal kits have charges.
That's fine.
Yep.
Alright, then there you go. 35.
So perhaps the couch, a bit of rest. It's been a long day.
Son is so used to doing this, in field conditions, he just kind of leans against the wall, does it, puts his leg on the table, but nods to the professor anyway, says thanks, and he's focused on healing, not reacting to the outside world.
Okay.
Turn to Zephyros and Pharisee, pull back the curtain and say, "We have a bit of a situation. It seems the doctor has been injecting the passengers of this train with blood from samples he's collected from the Boster and Badlands. From checking his notes, it seems that he's been using mostly... has he been doing mostly infected blood? Question mark blood?
It looks like a good third of each. He's trying to run some weird ass experiment.
It looks like...
Why would he do that?
Oh, some foolish quest for glory to find a cure. It doesn't really matter now. I suppose what matters is quarantine measures, and I'll quickly check the list to see what he's done to the conductor, the head rail guy in charge.
Okay, there's the conductor. There's also somebody labeled as chief engineer. You haven't seen him yet, but
the guy who actually runs this place.
Let's see. The conductor, an unknown, and chief engineer is likely sick.
And that was the dwarf in the caboose?
No, the dwarf in the caboose is a senior engineer, and he's an unknown quantity.
Any other senior... fuck. It seems the chief engineer is likely infected. Perhaps we're the senior engineer from the caboose. He's a question mark. I'll say, passing the book over to Ferris and Rose. I think we should find someone on here who runs this train and gather our forces, so to speak.
Do we know how to keep ourselves safe from this plague if we don't have it but other people have it?
Isolation is what the Badlands was employing, but Son, you spent some time speaking. But you busy at the moment?
I turn. It's rest, isolation. Better healers than me can guarantee a cure. I can't. I can just increase the chances. It can really permanently cripple you. So anything like the potion the professor gave me will help. But as far as actually removing the contagion, it's mostly just rest and keeping your life forces up through whatever healers you got. Most of us, beyond giving someone a potion, can't do much, and I can only do so much myself.
You could share in my glory when I find the cure.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Thanks for the opportunity.
Doctor, you've been exposed to a lot of sick people.
I caught a glimpse of some of the Queen's physician's notes. Dr. Davila said that the cure may reside in a sick person who has recovered, or even in those who are special. Help me find these special people, and I will share with you the glory of becoming a great doctor of the realm.
Oh, Doctor, you need to be quarantined now because of the amount of exposure that you've had to this contagion.
Yes.
We'll close you in your room, and hopefully they won't find you in 2 days lying on your bed, dead, your mouth surrounded in bloody spittle, and your eyes bleeding out of the sockets.
Nonsense! My plague doctor's mask will protect me.
Oh, yes.
No, it really won't.
I'll reach up and take it off of his face.
Okay, there's a very kind of... Well, actually, I'll create a token for him now that you've taken a small plague doctor's mask off of his face. It is fit for his gnomish head.
Can Mokranum become small enough to wear this mask?
Mokranum is a small creature. You're pretty sure he could grow weird tendrils to wear the mask. So yeah, Mokranum could wear the mask. Let's find a evil gnome token. Evil gnome minus garden. That guy looks a little, Oh, some of these are really evil. Halloween costume. Evil.
If you pull out a token that looks like Trump.
No, not a political tomb. His name was what? Daru. Doctor. Daru.
I will.
He's got a neatly trimmed beard. He's got small spectacles on his face that are also askew. He's got kind of like a pimply face though, like his mask has been on for a long time and perhaps causing a rash.
I'll use an identify through my monocle to examine his mask to see if it gives you any bonuses to resisting disease.
Okay. Give me a identify check.
Oh, what is that? Like a spellcraft plus 20 or something?
It is a spellcraft check.
Is it plus? Does anybody know offhand?
It's plus 10, and
like it's plus 10.
wizards can aid. I'm going to say Pharisee is in the process of intimidating him, and
Oh yeah, that sounds good. I'll keep doing that.
the professor is looking at the mask. Zephyrus, are you helping out?
Yeah, if I can.
Yep, you auto-aid, I think. So
39 with Zephyros's auto.
39. Okay, we're going to call this a Plague Doctor's Mask. And we're going to call it like minor variety. Like it's got some minor enchantments. The first enchantment is it provides a +2 profane bonus versus versus nauseating gases and diseases.
Mm-hmm.
It also acts as a non-detection, I believe is the spell. Let me check. It masks your alignment.
Nice.
Can any of us detect alignment? I don't think so.
Sense motive only. Not the alignment.
None of us are like religious casters or whatever. Isn't that usually?
It will make someone appear under detection alignment spells as neutral.
What's that spell called?
I'm looking it up right now. It is called no, non-detections versus I swear there's a specific magic item that does this.
I have something that does it. I have what is it, a ring, I think. Let's see. Ring of Mind Shielding, immune to detect thoughts, discern lines, and magical alignment detection. Mind Shielding?
Yeah, it is a low-level variant of mind shielding that just has the alignment portion. It veils the wearer's alignment, making them register as neutral to alignment detecting effects. It is got the non-detection spell worked into it as part of its crafting. The caster level of the item is caster level 5.
Okay, I think I got all that. Plague Doctor's Minor, caster level 5, +2 profane bonus against nauseating gases and diseases, acts as a low-level variant of Mind Shielding, makes wearer's alignment appear as neutral.
Yep.
Okay. I will turn to Son while he's bandaging up his leg and say, we picked this up off of the tar Damon, as you know. I realize you're a bit squeamish with this sort of thing, but it will help fortify you in the coming days if you desire. I'll hold up the belt I had put on earlier. It doesn't have any more of the little cocodamons in it, but it does give a +2 to Constitution. So if Son wants to wear it for his fortitude checks, I will.
I think it's serious enough. Yeah. It doesn't have the cacodemons anymore?
No, those have been taken care of.
It's got the hooks.
No. I'm saying like I'm not asking the camera cam. He would be able to see if they're on there.
Yeah.
They're not on. Okay.
They're not on there. The hooks that they were on is still there, and it's still kind of a creepy looking belt, but.
The other thing is, how would this work with my faith? Because this is like clearly an evil artifact.
Oh, I believe that's a personal question.
Oh, in that the person of the god decides it for you. Yes. Fuck it, I'll try it. Or actually, Marty, can I make a like knowledge religion check to see if like I would offend my god by wearing something like this?
Yep.
Okay.
+2.
4.
It's a belt.
Fair enough. I take it and put it on.
Okay. I see you have another belt on right now.
Yeah, that's us. Well, I have suspenders, but yeah, they're acting as a belt. So
I'm gonna cut it from mine and put it up above on your gear sheet.
yeah.
You can add it in and do whatever you want with your belt. I don't want to cause a conflict on the page.
Mhm.
Okay, so you put on this belt, immediately you feel sort of like a vigor coming from the belt. It gives a +2 con bonus, right?
Yeah.
If you keep the belt on long term, it will grant you extra hit points and the benefits of increased con. Constitution is what fortitude saves are based off of, which is what you're going to have to roll in the morning if you were in contact with a disease and/or have a disease.
Yeah.
Well, so that is what we could do for now. Perhaps we could do more, but Pharisee Zephyros, what do you propose we do about this situation?
I'll say, proffering the log.
What do you want me to do?
I have
You're
an
part
idea.
of the decision making, bro.
I think you
What's
should
your idea?
now.
Hold him steady and keep him quiet.
Oh, yes, okay.
There's a big tendril that wraps around his mouth.
I'll take a syringe, stick it into a vial, pull just a little bit of blood out.
His eyes go wide with fear. You could see that he's trying to look at like what the syringe or what the vial was.
It's okay. I'm not going to stab you. I'll move it close to his eye and drip a little bit, trailing from each corner. Oh no! You have the symptoms, Doctor.
Oh,
I hear the blood veil is very painful. It looks painful in its later stages. Is there anything in here that could ease this poor man's pain? That could ease his suffering? Something that you could give him in extremely large quantities?
Ooh.
We could hit him over the head until he passes out.
I'll look through his medical stuff and start looking for.
It's pretty easy to tell that someone died from getting hit over the head.
No, I'm not gonna kill him.
Okay.
Oh, I was suggesting that.
Right.
I'll start looking. I think the professor's got what Ferris is saying. I'll start looking through his medical supplies.
Okay. He's
Self-medicating while in quarantine.
yes, should ease his suffering.
He is trying to wiggle out of Makernum's grab
That's appropriate.
at this point. He got a 30 on his escape artist check. Wow, these NPCs and the rolls. Makernum, however, let's see. Makernum's CMD versus grab. His grapple CMD is 27. He loops out.
You fucking bitch!
That's what he says. And I think.
Spread the infection, Doctor! Stop him! Stop him!
I think it's a new initiative as basically combat has started again. He wiggled out of Makernum's grasp, but he is now looking for a way out. Like he does not think. It does not look like he thinks like he's gonna take you all on. He's like looking towards the door, and he actually glances up at the vent that was partially open.
Where's the vent?
The vent is kind of up behind San, where Pixel was. Here, I can draw a little square.
Oh, that's right.
Pixel was sneaking in, and there's like a little vent that's high up. You don't know how the fuck he's gonna get up there, but you saw him glance at the vent, and it looks like he wants to escape. You basically told him you're gonna murder him.
I did do that. That's true. I did do that.
Oh, look at those initiative rolls.
To be fair, though, I expected him to have been murdered by now.
Yeah, some asshole infecting you randomly with deadly disease. Yeah, plus you're neutral. All right, Makronam wins initiative with a natural 20. He's got a +8, so Makronam's going to try to beat him and grab him again.
Oh, you're not getting away.
Makronam might not have picked up on the "we're going to murder you" part, but he's definitely going to help grab the guy. Oh, he rolls a nat 1 on his slam. Critical miss. I'm gonna roll to confirm. He would have hit. He ends up hitting the chair. Ow! And then Uguay is down the hallway. San, you can finish bandaging yourself later. You're kind of halfway through your bandaging.
Fair enough. Freeze the API and beat the shit out of the doctor. Non-lethal.
Okay, you just kind of up him over the bridge of his nose, or try to. Give me an attack roll. He's not.
Two attack rolls technically, because I'm touching him.
No, to strike someone is still.
But don't I have 2 attacks?
You do have 2 attacks. You can take 2.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Shit.
Melee is +11.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So +11 +6. That's
21.
a hit. You hit him in the bridge of his nose.
Okay. D6. Okay, so this says 1d6 +5, but you told me it should be something else. I think you said it should be d4.
Yep.
So it should be 1d4 +5.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, 1d4 +5. 6.
Okay, 6 non-lethal. He's at 37 non-lethal. He looks like if he was in a boxing ring, he'd be almost passed out, like just sort of like head tilting and up against the ropes, and then you come in and you're like, that didn't do it. This one will, and you hit him twice in the head. 1d6 +5. 9 non-lethal. That knocks the little guy out. All right, he's got like a bloody nose and a cut upper lip.
Okay. I just keep bandaging myself.
That may make him look like he was beat up. We may need to do something about that if the story is that he succumbed to his own disease.
We could cut his face up
into a stupor to ease the pain, and then fell face first into the table.
Plausible, certainly, yes.
Yeah, done that lots of times with my wife.
He'll have all the signs of the disease, too.
Among other things, yes.
Let's just make this murder work, people.
If we do wake
there we
up
go.
and he isn't feeling too lucky, we could make him appear as though he died of fright.
Okay, well, he's unconscious. He's kind of slumped back into the chair now. What are you doing to him?
Yes, died of fright sounds fine. I'll hex his will saves and give him misfortune.
Okay.
I guess I'll have to hit him with a wand to wake him up.
18 on the saving throw?
That'll be enough to make it last only 2 rounds.
Okay.
So I'll cackle the saving throw curse, and still follow it up with misfortune, which will be DC 20 at a -2.
Okay, he fails that one.
So he's got misfortune.
Yep.
He's at a -2. Professor?
I'll hit him with a charge from a Cure Light Wounds to wake him up.
Okay.
And then I will cast Phantasmal Killer.
I like this plan a lot, by the way.
Okay.
I just want popcorn and watch.
We just healed him so he wakes up.
Well, give me the healing. He's at -5. You need to do 5 healing to wake him up.
What's
Cure Light Wound is D8 plus caster level max +5.
Would I get? No, it's only for DCs. So this wand was a caster level 1.
I think there's another wand thing that you could probably use your real caster level, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that one though. So it's 1d8 plus 1.
Yep.
Ooh. 8.
All right. So 8 non-lethal go away. If he had lethal damage, similarly 8 lethal damage would go away. So he's at 38 non-lethal. Makronom's grabbing him, like he's already back in the original state where he tried to get away.
You're not gonna get away with this.
And I will cast Phantasmal Killer.
Okay, so
He's
it's
going to get away with this.
2 rounds. That means he needs to make 2 will saves at -2.
With disadvantage.
Yes. So these are the will saves of the Phantasmal Killer. The disadvantage, he's got a whopping +1 will save. So -2 is -1 total. He rolls a 3 and a 7, so he failed his will saves. He's like,
Not you! Not you! I serve you! I serve you!
So will save. Oh, a will save and then a fort save.
and now the fort save, his fort save is +4 at a -2 because you hexed his saves, and then he has to roll 2 of them.
Yes. Yes.
He rolls a 19 and a 7. A little bit. His eyes grow bloodshot. He has this look of absolute fear that is almost instantaneously rigor mortis on his face, and blood pouring out of one of his nostrils. He falls over and hits the floor dead.
Another victim of the blood veil. We should mark this room quarantined.
This blood is
unfortunate.
horrible.
Oh, yeah. May as well search it.
Don't forget to position him so that it looks like he died of natural causes in the blood veil.
Yes. The natural
Sure.
impact of fist on face.
No, tape face on table.
What
Oh,
happened
yeah.
to him?
Maybe a little
Pixel.
bowl of cereal for his head to have gone into.
Yes.
Okay, what are you doing with the room?
Luke, you're muted.
I'm going to put together 2 signs that say quarantined and tack them onto this door and the door across the hall with the guards.
Okay.
Use the
Wait, out of what?
There's probably
Paper and pen.
Okay.
I'll
Assuming
use the unseen servant to arrange the body as if he had died of a horrific bloodville death. I'll use some blood from his kit to make it more convincing and make sure this unseen servant does all the movement, and I will take the kit and the books and give it to Makronom for keeping at the end, so we have the evidence.
Okay, so you've got Dr. You want to add that to Makronom? Dr. Daru's doctor bag and 26 samples, and then Dr. Daru's log book. I don't know if you put it inside the bag and then give it to all of Makronom's, but
Yeah, I'll do that.
okay. What are you doing with the mask?
Give it to Makronom as well.
For keeping?
Or actually put it back on his face, I think, to make it more convincing.
is more convincing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll put the mask back on his face so that someone will have to come in, investigate, and
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but that is more convincing.
You put the magical mask back on his face. You know that masks are the type of item that do resize, typically to their wearer's size. But you put the plague doctor's mask on his face, as you think it would be more convincing.
how many samples was that?
26 samples, and they're just randomly like plague, no plague, or unknown. They all look like they came from the Bostera region, and they're a smattering of races.
Is there an empty vial?
Yeah, he did have an empty vial. You also have, he had one of these really kick-ass syringes, and then he had a spare one in a kit.
Zafira says to the professor, Professor, you might want to take his blood. We might need to know if he had the virus or not.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Sample is in order. I'll take a sample of his blood.
And we need to mark it so we know it was his.
Okay. You also find 8 charges of healing kits that you can restore your own healing kit with, Son.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you find like spare bandages and ointments and things that you're pretty sure are just regular medical gear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Okay. The strange murder aboard the train has transpired. You guys are now still standing in this place. It's been probably 10 minutes.
Shall we go to dinner then?
Yes. The doctor unfortunately couldn't examine us because he was quarantined. In the morning when they find him, he will have died a hero.
Yes, he's not looking too good. We should leave him alone as soon as we're done looking around, making sure he's bequeathed us whatever supplies we need to survive this horrible tragedy.
It was kind of him.
Saul nods and says, hey, wait for me though. Like, this will probably take another, 40, 50 minutes. Like,
Shall we continue it someplace a bit more accommodating, son? I don't suppose you want to be near this whole situation.
Yeah, works for me, just not dinner.
Yes, perhaps we'll return back to our quarters until you're finished, then to dinner, or you can meet us at dinner.
Sure, but keep in mind that it sounds like a third of the people at dinner are going to be infected.
Yes, perhaps we can make an excuse to leave early.
You'd really be best off not appearing there at all if you can. We could go to an official and just tell him we found the doctor dead right now. That will probably cancel the dinner and give us some time.
Or we could just say we're not feeling well and the doctor told us to stay in our quarters.
That's not a bad idea. I think the doctor saw people recently, and so his rapid descent into the blood veil might be suspicious.
Fair enough. Yeah, let's just... someone, Farisay maybe? You were the one that actually knows how to talk to people. Go and lie that we are not feeling well and will be contained to quarters. Self-quarantine, if you will. Let's go and actually do that.
That sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me, too. I'm not interested in being surrounded by sick people.
Shall we then?
Yeah. I guess, Marty, we march off.
Close the curtain and
You guys are just marching off quickly. Okay, as you're passing the door where Farisay sent all of the guards, you can hear the 2 guards saying, "What do we do? I don't know."
Oh.
Was there an instruction for them to stay and guard the deputy marshal?
Yep, you can hear them. They didn't come back out. Like the charm only lasts as long as she's playing. But they haven't emerged, which is kind of strange.
Fuck it. Let's just keep going.
Professor will kind of look at Farisay questioningly because he doesn't really know what the hell this is all about.
I need to fucking get out of here. Both of you have the disease. And one guard backs away, and the other one's like, "What? I don't have the disease. Look at your face."
You two need to be quarantined. Doctor's orders. You can use any of these rooms, but quarantine is essential. The doctor told us to quarantine ourselves as well. He was not able to see us because he is starting to feel sick.
And he is quarantining himself as well.
Oh, we already got our shots.
Yes.
They don't start working immediately for at least another 24 hours or 26 or however long the day is.
Just stay in your rooms for a bit.
I'll start coughing.
If you're not sick by morning, then you can come out.
This guard goes running to the privy and shuts the door. The other guard's just sort of standing there like doesn't know what to do. I gotta stay in here with the sick guy.
Not necessarily there. Just pick another room. You'd probably be better off in another room.
Oh, okay. And
Just not the doctors.
Yeah, I'll back out of his way.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
He goes into this room and closes the door. These two guards are in a panic. The deputy marshal did not.
As we walk by Uguay, or like the room where Uguay is, do we see him in there?
Yeah, the door is open, and you can see he's sitting down at a table and chatting quietly with another Recastan.
I guess someone looks at him, like waves him over, doesn't say anything.
Okay, Uguay excuses himself, and the other Recastan just gives a low, respectful nod.
How did it go?
Says Uguay.
We'll tell you in our quarters.
Yeah, not so bad. People are getting sick left and right here, though, so I suggest we return to our quarters.
Don't lick any doorknobs or other people.
I will try not to, he says. Slight
I
smirk.
realize it's tempting.
Slight smirk crosses his face. You guys go across this way. You can see, you can't help but notice this time around all the people with their bandages on their arms from when they got their inoculation.
I will hold a handkerchief to my mouth and clear my throat a bunch and throw in a couple of old man coughs. I don't really think I'm faking it.
The Turk conductor sees you. It looks like he's like putting out some hors d'oeuvres on the tables. He says, dinner will be served in half an hour. He checks this thing in his pocket that's on a chain. You think it's a pocket watch?
Someone comes up to him and he says, we're really sorry, but the doctor told us that for the next 24 hours we should quarantine ourselves. We were in deep desert, and even though we don't have any symptoms, but out of precaution, it would be better for us not to interact with other passengers for 24 or 26 hours or whatever the fuck, however long the day is.
The doctor himself has taken ill and quarantined himself, so he was not able to give us those inoculations. That makes us at risk. I'm sure you'll be fine. Yet, without such protections as you got, I think it better that we keep you safe, don't you?
All right. Who's taking the
doctor's orders, after all?
Who's taking the lead? He's just sort of nodding while listening to you. Who's taking the lead on this bluff? While the conductor seems to be eating it up, there's another man sort of feet back on the divan, and he's just sort of watching you. And it's the type of person that is really good at watching.
I got a shitty bluff.
Yep. So Zephyrus is just sort of looking at his toes. It sounds like Farisay is taking the lead, and because both Luke and Jean spoke through their characters, they need to aid in a bluff.
I coughed.
Sounds good.
Bluff is just charisma if you don't have any skills in it. So,
let's see. I aid.
Nice.
I do not.
No, you do.
Or
10 or above.
Oh, is it 10?
Yep.
+2 +2
Yep.
+15. I have a very good
15 on
bluff.
bluff. Wow.
Oh, the fairy can lie.
25 though. That's not the best bluff, but it's not bad.
Let's see what this guy has. He raises an eyebrow at that. He doesn't stop you. He doesn't say anything. You said the doctor is sick, is what he finally says as you guys are passing.
The doctor said the doctor was sick, and posted a quarantine sign on the door. Well, he asked me to post it for him.
He nods. Then I will have dinner delivered to your quarters and give me, say, 45 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Most kind.
Ah, yes. But I will serve you gentlemen first, says the Turk conductor Glark, and you notice that the conductor also has a bandage.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book rolling around in Makranam's belly that has a list of...
Don't let us inconvenience you.
Alright, the group of the Jerks Emeritus continue on with their sword saint in tow. You do pass through the kitchen, and there's some wonderful dishes that are already prepared. I don't know if you're helping yourself now or just waiting for him to serve you.
Not touching shit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah, like not touching dishes, not touching, people, not touching doorknobs.
Okay, you get to the bar.
Not touching anything.
You get to the bar cart. Well, you're touching doors to get through. The bar
Bring the
cart.
gloves.
You could see Sarathis there. Oh, hi.
Hey, how are you?
Did he get the poke? Sarathis, did you?
Yeah, everyone did.
Yes, it wasn't bleeding, so I took off the bandage, and you can see the bandage in like a garbage basket.
Yes.
But do we remember who had at least not gotten a bad poke?
We have a book, but we don't.
Right. There's a book with, and a third of people are.
Yep.
Roughly.
Yeah, when I glanced through, do I remember if this guy...
Give me an in check.
Was that 8? Yes.
Thank you.
20?
Okay. The person had an X.
Which I think it means Negazone, if I recall correctly.
Drinks, everyone? He says he has no idea what you guys are talking about. And...
Yes, please.
Did you get your inoculations? I feel so much better that I've got mine. I was really worried about returning to Grand Station.
Unfortunately, the doctor is taken ill and was not able to inoculate us as he has himself quarantined.
So it's best for us not to touch anything of yours. We won't want to get you sick.
We best not linger.
Well, isn't that what inoculation was for? To make us not get sick?
Well, you possibly, but you serve to others as well. Inoculation may not work on everyone.
The doctor was a hero. He must not have inoculated himself, saving it for the passengers.
The doctor's sick.
Yes.
Oh, by the gods.
He has been exposed to many sick people, though. Many opportunities for him to have caught the disease before it was able to be prevented.
And naturally, the employers skipped out on PPE.
What a terrible accident.
Oh yeah, it was awful.
I hope that he will recover quickly.
Well, he looks around and he grabs a bottle of whiskey and puts it down. Maybe this will help cure it. Help fortify you, he says.
Oh, thank you. Some fishes out some money. I don't know. How much would like a bottle of whiskey normally be in like a not rip-offy restaurant?
So let's see. A shot of whiskey would probably be a couple of copper pieces, and maybe a silver for a drink. How many shots of whiskey in a bottle?
Well, there's a hell of a multiplier there, though.
Yep.
Like, a shot is worth a lot more than just the alcohol. I don't know, count 10. I think that's roughly like the ratio in the bar would be.
Yeah. A shitty bottle of whiskey would be worth less than $1. $1 is a fair price for a bottle of whiskey.
Okay. So I'll put $1. Thank you.
Okay. He takes that and puts it in a little drawer like till. Well, you should probably stay away from everyone. He looks a little disappointed, like.
Wait. There's like two people talking. Could you hear each other?
This.
Yeah.
I suppose you have to isolate yourselves.
It seems like you can't hear him.
Yeah, no, Marty, I can hear you. Matt, can you hear Marty? Marty, can you hear me?
Looks like we got some recovering lost connection on Matt's end.
Okay. Yeah, so, because we can see him, so it must be good peer-to-peer. Yeah, Matt, Marty says you're recovering lost connection on your end. And Neil left. Marty, Matt is offering to hang up and to let you recall him.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where are you guys going? Back into your...
The rooms. Yeah, the rooms
Okay.
that they give us. I don't think we're lying about that.
Okay. Are you going back into the room where the dead creature is?
No, definitely not. We're
Okay.
gonna close that one up and not go in there.
So you just go into other rooms?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get Matt back on.
All right, I'm here.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, there we go.
Uh-huh.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, you guys are back in your rooms. What are you doing now? Uguay is like, what happened? He sees all the concern on your faces and...
So I wave Uguay into my room, sit him down across from me, and explain. So the doctor was a fraud. He was injecting people with blood of sick people, healthy people, and unknown people, and hoping that would somehow create an immunity. So about a third of the train is now sick and they don't know it, but they will in 2 days. And so more importantly, he stuck me with a needle. He didn't inject me, but he may have contaminated me. So, you know, we're taking precautions. I have to do some bandaging. And after that, we'll need to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I suppose we should start by studying the logbook, see who's likely infected, who's not, who's a maybe.
Uguay's face twists in anger, his hand goes down to his sword. We should stop him.
He's dead.
Yes, I believe he succumbed to the very disease he was trying to cure.
Yes.
Tragedy.
Yeah, very tragic.
Would you say the whole train is sick?
About a third of the train. Not every. He was injecting some people with presumably healthy blood, or healthy to the best of his knowledge, and some people with sick blood, and some people with a blood of unknown status.
He wrote down who he infected?
Yes.
Show me.
Okay.
He seems immediately concerned.
Open the doctor's bag, please.
Okay.
I'll get the book out and give him the bag back.
Uguay's just staring at Mockernom, and Mockernom smiles at him. A couple little eyes do the cartoon cut.
You know, this whole time I thought Mockernom didn't have eyes.
Yeah, he has these little eye stalks that grow out and these little eyes that appear. He's got multiple of them, or only one at a time, but sometimes he doesn't.
See, exactly. I thought, like, my mental image is that there's just mouth. I think that's more hilarious for some reason.
So the bag has got the Macronom kind of ick on it, but you open it up and take out a book and you flip through, and you notice that Oogway kind of grabs the book when he starts looking through. He looks for a name. His clawed finger goes down. It goes down the columns, and it stops at somebody by the name of. I have just met this man. He is an honorable trader, and it says Zal Raza Andruki. And beside his name corresponds to a sample, and you cross-reference that sample to somebody that had an X.
It looks like he may be in the clear. You may want to suggest he quarantine himself out of an abundance of precaution. But of course, telling him about the whole situation will then spark some panicable that I think we should avoid.
What about the others? What about the ones that run the trade?
Oh, they're already sick.
Yes, I suppose it'll be a couple of
Maybe.
days before they start to show symptoms if they are infected. We can take action then.
Well, by then we'll be in Grand Station. The reality is too, Oogway, there's even knowing who is sick, there's only so much we can do. We are not healers. I am a little bit, but I'm not as good as the priest that can actually cure it.
So we need to isolate ourselves from the rest of the train then?
Yes, and start streaming D&D on Twitch.
That was the most meta comment ever. Alright, so Oogway says, well, I'm going to go fetch Zalrasa. He is kept to himself as many of the man folk, and he looks at Professor when he says that. Sometimes distant from those with large teeth, and he kind of grins with his own cat-like teeth. His incisors are definitely pronounced.
Towards me? He threatened me because I'm a man?
No, he explained. Well, you can take it as a threat if you want, but
No, I'll lean in to investigate his teeth. They're probably quite fascinating.
he cocks his head in slightly. I'll be right back, and he kind of tucks his face into his shirt, like that's gonna help, and he wanders off.
Perhaps you should hold on to this for a little longer, Macronom.
Oh, okay.
I'll give him the logbook back.
Wait a second. Wait. I want to try something.
You notice him sprout a bunch of like 30 little eyes of a potato kind of thing, and he's looking at the bag, and he's like looking over the doctor's bag, and then he's going to turn into a doctor's bag.
Oh.
He was studying the bag.
This is a nice bag.
And then all of a sudden he turns into one, and his disguise for the bag, you need a perception check DC 48 to figure out Macronom from the doctor's bag.
Even with his like talking and shit?
Well, you were just watching him, but it's like, holy shit, he looks exactly like the doctor's bag.
Macronom, perhaps you could be a vase or something like that for a while and not the doctor's bag.
Okay, I just wanted to see if I could do it. Did I trick you?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, very nice Macronom.
Okay, I gotta remember that one. It's very nice. It's got supple little scales on it, and it's got a nice clasp, nice and shiny, and there's a little mark on the side like it's been used.
Oh, it's been used.
It's a good container.
How good? Does it? Is it like you?
No, but it's a nice container. Someone spent a lot of time crafting it.
True. Yes.
Okay, I'll turn it into a vase. Do you like this color? Or how about this color? Or I could do this pattern.
More of a paisley, I think. Yes, maybe.
If anyone could disguise themselves as the doctor, We could sneak out as the doctor with us.
Oh, yeah.
The professor's been tiny before, but I don't know. And he's pretty good with voices.
It's hit or miss, to be honest.
Zephyros, you know there's one problem with Professor walking out as a doctor and holding on to a Macronom. Macronom, for all of his disguises, there's one way to see through his disguise, and that's by picking him up.
Yeah, he probably weighs like.
Macronom's 80 pounds.
Oh boy!
And Zephyros knows this because he rides around on Zephyros' back constantly. Now, Zephyros is like a Mack truck, though, and the 80 pounds is nothing. But he weighs a lot.
But who would pick up the doctor and notice? Would anybody pick up the doctor and notice that he's heavier than usual?
Oh, someone picking up his bag would notice, I would think.
The professor wouldn't be able to carry the bag even if he was dressed like the doctor. So we'll need to think of something else.
If the professor is the doctor and Zephyros is carrying his bag for him?
I don't think a physician would part with his bag.
Probably.
I wouldn't.
Yes. Probably this plan is probably doomed in any case, because as soon as we leave and somebody discovers he's dead, they will put one and one together and say he left the train with us, but he couldn't have because we walked out with him.
Okay, the clatter of a dinner cart is heading your way.
Ooh.
Go into our rooms, close the door.
Everyone shuts a bunch of doors.
I kind of lean out, wave the conductor over, and I say, I'm sorry, my friends had a really long day, and the train arrived early. They're asleep. Could you leave the food with me, and I'll give it to them when they wake up?
Yes, I suppose I can leave the plates outside the door. And he there's like this really fancy platter. Like they're serving you individual servings for someone that's in first class, but you're in coach. So there's this silver platter with one of those with one of those covers on it. And, and he shows you the food, and there's this there's a beautiful meat pie and a little cup of some sort of yogurt or what do you call it? Pudding. There's some fresh bread and a little pat of butter on its own little fucking plate. Like son, this is the type of thing that you're like, are we having a religious ceremony? No, this is how rich people eat. And there's like a couple glasses and all sorts of silverware and a weird broth with something floating in it and some sort of charcuterie board. He shows it to you, and he's waiting for Son to acknowledge.
So, Son has zero experience with high-class hotels. He's doing his best to fake knowing what the fuck's going on. He's like, yes, this will be great. Thank you very much.
Okay, once you say that, he puts the cover down. You realize that must have been him asking if it was okay, and he puts the tray in your room. He kind of asked you the question, like Bob said.
Yeah. So just.
He stops and looks at the lizard, but he saw it earlier, and
this is the Pearl Surprise. The Pearl Surprise. This is Dr. Clark.
Pearl Surprise was napping, kind of lifts its head, and he steps back. I'll put the plates out in front.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Professor, Pixel, and Zephyros, you can hear some rattling outside your doors, and then there's a soft knock as he puts out a plate in front of... He assumes that one of you is in each of these, and he puts out...
Thank you so much.
You kind of say through the door, oh, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much.
Breakfast tomorrow will be at 9 a.m.
Thank you very much.
I'll bring your breakfasts here. If you have any particular desires for something to eat, please leave them on these cards and these little slips of paper and like a bit of charcoal, kind of like in a crayon kind of formation, get placed underneath underneath the cracks of your door. Write down any special dietary requirements. I will bring a double portion of whatever you order for the fat.
Yeah, at this point, I think Stone isn't even reacting.
Okay. He goes through the same spiel at each door.
As he leaves our doors, Sephiros says to Pharisee,
This is not going to work. We can't avoid them. We need to either separate ourselves from them, tell them why we're doing it, or we need to do something else. But just hiding is not going to work.
Tell them why we're doing what.
Did the conductor leave at this point?
Yeah, you hear the cart leaving, and then all of your doors open, and you guys have dinner there.
Yeah. So, well, no. Someone's like, yo, don't eat this. Any of the cooks may have been infected, so this food may very well carry. Let's just feed it to Mockernon. Like, we have our trail rations. Let's use those.
Can I get sick?
I don't know, can you?
I don't
I
know.
certainly hope not.
I don't think so, Mockernon.
this would have been a good question to ask before you sucked the blood out of your leg.
Yeah, no, you can't. No, Mockernon, you're immune.
Okay.
Please don't eat the silverware and the plates and stuff. Just eat the food.
All of this is for eating?
Oh yeah, baby. You enjoy it.
Or if you want to keep some of it for later, it's for keeping.
But it's for you, Mockernon. You decide.
Okay, there are little tendrils that come out of his mouth and latch onto the food, and the food wholesale disappears down his gullet.
Well, I guess Song grabs like a little bit of meat and gives it to the Frill Surprise, because he assumes like, okay, it's a magic beast, it probably can't get that disease.
Okay. Makarnam eats all of San's food. And all disappears down the gullet.
I was on, like, Son, I guess, was talking like, hey, none of us should eat this food. Like, you guys really shouldn't risk it.
Don't let me stop you, Mockernom. Have at it.
Okay, he eats all the professor's food. He seems to be a bottomless pit.
Oh, it's really good. This pudding stuff is very pudding. Like,
is there actual pudding there, Marty?
Yeah, there's like an English style pudding, mustard color, kind of like I forget what it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They do love that in English. It's not good. I like it.
It all disappears. He leaves the silverware and the platter is basically licked clean.
Cool. So here's what I propose. While we're on the train, the reality is we're passengers. We don't actually need to interact with conductors any more than the other passengers do. So as long as we hold the contact to a minimum, should be fine, right?
Okay.
When they discover the doctor, that might raise some questions. But hopefully that won't happen until at least tomorrow.
Uwe
that makes
returns. He can't quite hear you, or like he's not part of the conversation yet. You can see him through the window of this door, and he talks to Zalraza, and you can see that he puts Zalraza into one of the compartments, and then rejoins all of you.
If they think we're infected, they'll avoid us like, how do you say, the plague?
Enough time has gone by that you finished bandaging your leg and fixing your wound. You rolled 35, which is higher than 20, or 25, so you get your level plus your wisdom modifier, which is 11 hit points back. What is interesting or neat about non-lethal damage is you get 11 hit points of real damage and 11 hit points of non-lethal back, so you're completely at full.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess Swan will slightly later try, doing something about the disease with his healing, but
Yes, so you can treat a disease. It takes 10 minutes to do. You can also treat yourself like you're trying to get infection out of a wound, or as if you had a disease. If you make the check, you give yourself a bonus on your next saving throw against the disease. The DC of treating a disease is the disease DC. So you guys, I don't think you know what the blood veil DC is, so just give me a heal check. This takes off a use of your healer's kit, and
31.
okay, yeah, you've done an amazing job with your leg. You'll know soon, as this disease acts fast.
Yeah, that I do recall that. So, Uguay, we were just talking about how we can, what we can do to avoid contact with other passengers as much as possible. And I don't think we really need to do too much unless they discover the doctor's body and pin it on us. If they do, we'll probably have to fight them. I don't see how we can get out of, killing a doctor.
Why would they pin it on us?
Because we killed him.
Oh, I believe he succumbed to the disease.
Yeah.
It's so much easier if we just stick to that story. Don't you think?
I mean, if they actually pin a murder on us, they're probably not gonna listen to stories. But I agree. I would rather avoid fighting the whole train. No question about it. Not to mention that riding into Grand Station with a train full of bodies is, a great bachelor party story, I suppose. But I'd rather avoid it. So.
Uguay takes his hand off of his blade, or the pommel of his blade, and he basically, he was just sort of resting on it. He crosses his arms. The doctor had no honor.
No, but he had a lot of disease that he infected people with. I'm not sure where you're going with it, Uguay.
Your secret is safe with me, is what he says. He seems annoyed about this, but he.
Yeah, fair.
Yep.
Thank you. And Son isn't joking when he says thank you.
Yep.
He means it.
Well, I think we should retire to our chambers and at all costs make people think that we may be getting sick and give them reason to want to avoid us. If they come at us, we should have guards posted. Sure, we can dispatch a few guards if we dispatched a tar demon. We should avoid killing them as they drive the train here.
You notice Uguay now that he's crossing his arms, it looks like he's sort of realizing that he's hurt as well. You notice he kind of checks his side, he was injured a little bit in the fighting that you guys took part in. He doesn't complain, but you do notice him kind of poking at his own wounds.
Yeah, the second Son notices that, he's like, let me bandage you. Get into my chamber. I will help you out.
Okay, Uguay nods. Just as long as you don't make me sick.
Yeah, so Marty, about that. I'm assuming that if someone is infected and they're acting as a doctor on an open wound, that there is a chance to transfer the disease.
There could definitely be a chance. Are you taking precautions?
Well, that's my question. Is there a way to take precautions, take a penalty on the heal roll? And
You understand that it is contact and injury that this disease transfers through?
Well, so what I can actually do is I can give a healing kit. Is there a way to heal where I'm not touching him?
Yep.
But I'm directing him what to do.
Yep, you can.
He is dexterous enough to tie a bandage, basically.
Yeah, you can give him instructions, or you could do it yourself while trying to keep contact of your body away from him, right. through gloves or through clean towels or through bandages. Either way, there's a penalty to the roll.
Well, sure. I guess I would do the latter because the whole
Okay,
telehealing
is
of
this
methods.
long-term care, or are you providing? Are you providing first aid, or are you actually long-term care takes 8 hours. First aid would. He's not negative hit points. So, are you providing long-term care, or are you just trying to treat deadly wounds?
The thing that I did on myself, that's treat deadly wounds, right?
Okay, DC 20. I would say DC 22 because you're trying to do it while not touching them.
Right. Okay. 35.
Nice. So you restore 11 hit points to him immediately. He gives you a nod, like he appreciates it.
Okay, 1 second. And after that, I apply charge of cure light wounds from a wand.
Okay, you can roll a die or take average out outside the combat.
Average. That's what, 5?
5. Yeah. He nods at that, and that's probably good. You know that's probably good enough. By morning, he should be better.
Yeah. So that's it. And then just real quick, how does healing overnight work?
Healing overnight works if you're just without anyone doing any doctoring. You get a hit point per level back overnight.
Uh-huh.
If somebody does long-term care, you get 2 hit points per level for every 8 hours of rest. And if you're doing a full day, you get more.
Okay. So I make a mental note before we retire to wave Mokranum into my room. Spend a good night with him. And I'm gonna heal him.
Okay. Are you going to treat wounds immediately?
Retire.
So basically, with one roll, you can perform long-term care to 6 people at a time.
Okay. Well, so it would be Mokranum and Full Surprise, because they're hurt.
Okay.
I don't think anybody else is hurt. Except Uwe, who can fucking figure it out.
No, he'll heal in the morning. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So if this one is not as tough to do. It's DC 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll use a healing kit anyway.
Okay. It's one roll, so one charge. So
Yeah,
you do amazing. Okay, so everyone is going to get twice their level in that room. Is going to get twice their level of hit points back by morning.
It's their level. It's not the healer's level.
Correct.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So after that's done, or I guess this is even before that's done.
Yeah, it's definitely evening. Nobody has come to bother you that evening.
We just got dinner. Yeah, before we retire, someone calls the quorum. Just knocking on our door and say, "Hey guys, before things turn crazy again, I have a proposal for after we arrive to Grand Station."
Yes.
And this is including Uwe, so everyone waved in.
Okay.
First, we anoint Mokranum as a patron saint of trains, and we worship him until he's able to turn into a train car.
Ooh.
This is just something I thought of.
Oh, a train car is a big, big container. One day Mokranum would be big enough to turn into a cattle car for sure.
Yes.
Someone's eyes missed.
And then all of his friends can ride inside of him. Oh.
I knew a girl like that.
Hey.
So, but on a serious note, this is serious to Mokranum. But on a serious note, it's pretty clear that Bloodvale, if the Queen's physicians are involved, and they clearly have absolutely no idea what the hell is going on with it.
Yes. When that fellow was expiring, he saw in his mind his master, someone great and terrible, which he fears more than anything else. That doesn't bode well.
Well, if they're corrupt, like it sounds like you're implying, that's bad enough. But the reality is, even if they weren't, They're clearly clueless.
Yes. I believe
So,
maybe, though. His mask had an effect on it that would suppress his alignment, make it appear neutral. Generally one does that sort of thing when they're trying to hide their true intentions.
wait, you're saying it did that magically, not just by physically obstructing the face?
Yes, if someone, for say, a paladin, were to detect his alignment, it would register as neutral, I believe.
That's circumstantial at best, but that's good to keep in mind. Thanks for pointing that out. So here's what I propose.
Excuse me, masters. I wish to introduce myself. I am Zaraza Andruki. I am a humble merchant from Bostera, on my way to Grand Station. I must thank you for telling me to isolate from the rest of the sick passengers and crew.
Of course.
I could
Only fair
not.
that we did.
I could not help but overhear with my Rakastan ears that you are concerned about this plague. This plague is bad for business. Surely, if you have the coin and if you're sick, I would beseech you to go to the great vault of Bompa Damadamba. He will provide healing to all those that can prove their worth, all those who have the coin.
Ah, interesting.
I am going there myself as well to pay homage to Bompa Damadamba, and I feel that this is the time when one must, as one hand takes, another must give. I will give offerings to the great god, and hopefully he will help alleviate the suffering of those that have been inflicted.
We're just trash from the slough, of course. So, could you help us? Where is the Great Vault? Is it in the upper plateau in the Temple District?
It is in the Temple District, yes.
This makes sense. Interesting.
He nods to all of you, and he like, if none of you engage him any further, he just kind of gives you
well-
advice that if you guys have money, go to that temple and they'll heal you. They'll heal you.
Yeah.
Do we know if he was injected at all?
Yeah, he got injected, but he got injected by somebody with an X through their through the column that said BV.
Yeah.
Not a check mark, and not a question mark. It said it had an X.
We assume that means he's good.
Yeah, that's the assumption we made. We didn't actually ask the doctor as to
Yeah,
what.
that guy's dead now, so we're just gonna keep that assumption until proven otherwise.
Yeah. As opposed to I got stabbed with a syringe that has pumped blood. That was BV checkmark.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He withdraws from the conversation and bows to all of you and goes back into his room.
Yeah, thanks for introducing him to us, Wei. Sounds useful. But I was going to propose something else. We should go to this temple. We don't have that much money, but maybe we can, shake someone down or something, or sell a door into slavery and be able to pay for treatment. But here's the thing. In Grand Station, there is a sect that I actually hail from. I guess I may have talked about it briefly, but we never really got a chance to discuss fully where I was from originally. And no one there is really known as a great healer, but it is a religious organization. And gods do tend to help those who are active about worshiping them, including in healing.
True.
And it's run by my great-great-grandfather. There are some greats in there. He's a giant, a full-blooded giant, so I don't really know how many generations are in there. And he answers different every time. He's an oracle, so he lies a lot, I think. But he is a good guy. You may have seen my religious symbol. Obviously, you know, growing up in an environment like that, I know a lot about my God, but nowhere near enough to be considered a priest. But there have been several things that have happened on this journey, this plague being one of them, that pushed me towards actually taking that step at becoming one.
Ooh.
A ranger is not really a priest, and they rarely combine, but I'm not going to stop being one. And there's another thing.
Oh, you're going to become a pranger.
Ooh, yes.
A clear tear comes out of Strong's eyes. He's proud of Makarna beyond belief.
What god do you worship, if you do not mind me asking, says Uguay.
Pull out my symbol, show it to him. I am Mulus.
He shakes his head like he doesn't know what it is.
It's a god of dreams. It's a titan. He is asleep. Not many people have heard of him. Traditional form of worship involves smoking. As a consequence of that, my compound can be seen as a strange place to outsiders. But they're generally welcoming. I don't think they would turn any of us away. It's not bad. I like Pranger better, though. I like Pranger better.
Yes, that seems useful. I think we should make our way up there. The favor of the gods couldn't hurt in such trying times.
The greatest healers of the land are actually the wife of Halcyon. Baishi Pei is the goddess of healing. Surely her priests have everything in order in Gren Station.
I'm sure they do, and we will visit the temple first, either Baishi Pei or Damadamba. I'm sure the priests of most orders would probably be able to help me if, in fact, I am infected, and if any of us show symptoms before we arrive. But I'm concerned about longer term. Contrary to popular belief, this epidemic is not going to be over in 2 weeks. And unless we want to get stuck to a temple and slowly bleed our money, we
have a place.
We should have a healer.
We have a place to stay as well if we need to isolate in the woods away from the city.
Indeed.
And
there are terrors in the woods that we could deal with. Not to bide our time, too.
Quite a bit of stock of larder, various whiskeys, parlor games. Having a healer on site would be just the thing we need, I think.
No, we don't need to get stuck to a single building, or even a forest.
I am going here, says Uguay. He pulls out a card and just hands it to somebody, I guess to Zephyros. He actually shows it to Zephyros first.
Zephyros takes the card and looks at it.
It is one of these business cards, but it's an elaborate thing. It's a thing that a craftsman put a lot of hand painted kind of work into, and it is some cross swords, and it says the Orazini Sword Academy.
Zephyros comments that he's never quite seen a card like this before.
Oh, I've seen something like that before. I think a friend of ours, a short friend of ours, had an interest in the place, and may even be there now.
Is it near the station?
He has something of ours, too, that I wouldn't mind getting back, or had it.
Yes, well, I don't think he will part with it willingly.
my training is not complete. And apparently, those that have learned quick strike